before you begin your comments.
Okay, thank you. With that, I'm going to motion to open the first public hearing this evening. It's on Resolution 2021-623, the Amherst Agricultural and Farmland Protection Plan, CRS 1134. A motion to open that at this time.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
And Roberta and Wendy.
Good afternoon, Supervisor Culpa and members of the board. My name is Roberta Rapocho, and I'm an associate planner with the town's planning department, and I'm the project coordinator for the planning process for the Farmland Protection Plan. We are pleased to submit the 2021 Amherst Agriculture and Farmland Protection Plan to the town board for this public hearing. The town contracted with Wendell Companies and their subcontractors, WWS Planning and Camoin 310, to complete the plan. I have Wendy Salvati here with me today from WWS Planning to present the plan to the board. In order to allow for more time for the public hearing for the public to review the completed plan, we're asking that the vote for the adoption of the plan be held at the August 9th meeting. After the plan is adopted, we hope to move forward with the implementation of the plan and its recommendations. Now, here's Wendy Salvati with WWS Planning to discuss the plan itself. Thank you.
Thank you, Roberta.
My name is Wendy Weber Salvati. I live at 4915 Pine Ledge Drive North, Clarence, New York, 14031. Good afternoon, Town Board. I'm really excited to actually be here to do this presentation for you because this was a very enjoyable project to do. So as Roberta said, next slide, please. As Roberta said, this was led by Wendell, and I assisted WWS Planning as well as Camoin 310. I would like to say that I helped Wendell with the agricultural protection and resource guide portion of this, while Camoin worked on the agricultural development side of it. So next slide. So we'll just give you an introduction, a quick overview of the plan. We'll talk about the goals and recommendations, and then we can open it up for any questions that you might have. So what is an agricultural protection plan? It really serves a dual role, as I said before, as an agricultural resource guide for agricultural protection, as well as a strategy for long-term agricultural development in the town. So it's a state-supported plan that's the community can develop to support agriculture. It contains an inventory of all of the resources, existing conditions in the town. It identifies priority areas for agricultural protection, as well as methods for accomplishing that. It includes goals, recommendations, and actions for implementing the plan so that we can achieve the vision for the future of agriculture in the town. So what does that mean, and why should we protect this? Why should we prepare this plan? Agriculture is really important to the town of Amherst as a means of protecting community character, as well as an economic activity in the town. So it helps the town implement the recommendations of the Bicentennial Comprehensive Plan, which does include strategies for agricultural protection. It strengthens that vision that was set forth in the plan. It helps manage the future growth and development in the community, particularly in the northern part of the town. The recommendations include policies and regulatory changes to protect and promote agriculture, and it is all aimed at the long-term viability of agriculture as an industry in the town, as well as protecting the community character in North Amherst. Next. So what did we learn? We conducted an inventory of existing resources. We looked at the data. We did a lot of mapping. We gathered lots of information about agriculture in terms of where it's happening in the town, and with particular focus in the north. So the majority of agricultural activity and the prime lands for farming are located north of North French Road. Agricultural activities that you find up in that area include crop farming, horticulture, farm markets, garden centers, breweries, tree and shrub farms, beekeeping, and other activities. And while most of the activity is in the northern part of the town, there are other places in the community where these things are happening at a smaller size. So areas south of Amherst and around the village of Williamsville also host farmers markets and are where several small agricultural businesses are located. The prime agricultural soils throughout the town, most are centralized in the northeast section of the town. Sanitary sewers do not exist in this area. This is currently outside of the established sewer district, and the goal is to keep it that way to protect agriculture. We'll talk about that a little more in a few minutes. So we also conducted a farm-friendly analysis of your zoning. We looked at your zoning to identify where there may be restrictions that do not allow agriculture to the extent that the state would like to see it happen and to the extent that certain farmers in the community would like to see it happen. So we did include recommendations for zoning updates in that respect. So we also conducted a survey. It was done in early 2021. COVID held us up, but it was posted on the town's website and readily promoted, and we received 79 responses. So what did we learn from the survey? We learned that 65% of respondents conduct agriculture or farming activities ranging from small scale to large scale, and including flower gardens, bees, chickens, hops, hemp. We learned that 77% of the respondents do not participate in agriculture or educational activities, but 52% of those same respondents would like to have opportunities of that nature. And also 91% of the respondents visit local farmers markets. 63% would like to have more opportunities to purchase local farm products. Next slide. In addition, 71% of the respondents feel that existing open land and farms are threatened by development. 63% told us that they would like to see more agricultural activity in the town. And finally, 76% of the respondents think that the town should help protect existing agriculture needs and activities. Next slide. So, using information that we gathered through the inventory and analysis, through our findings, we put together, and also taking into consideration what we heard from the public, we put together 5 goals for agricultural protection. And the first goal is to protect agricultural lands and resources, as well as undeveloped lands with prime soils that are critical to the long-term success, viability, and resiliency of agriculture in the town. So the best way to protect agriculture is really to protect the lands where it occurs, protect the soils, the resources, and prevent encroachment into that area. And some of the ways that you can achieve this goal is to establish an ongoing agriculture and farming advisory committee that can assist with issues that may come up, work with the town board, work with the farming community, act as a liaison, and such. Also review and revise agricultural specific sections of the town code, particularly the zoning, and most importantly, adopt a right to farm law in the community. The second goal is to protect key areas of viable farmland, important soils, and natural resources within the town that are suitable for permanent protection through the use of agricultural conservation easements. So we would suggest that the town continue working with the Western New York Land Conservancy to protect development and purchase rights on key parcels that were identified for protection. So this would be to continue what the town had already started, as there are a number of properties that have been purchased for agricultural protection. So in that line, the town should continue to pursue funding from the New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets and other sources so that they can continue to purchase conservation easements. And then finally, supporting co-location of compatible agricultural uses, such as grazing, beekeeping, apiaries, and also planting pollinator species wherever the town may establish solar installations, so that you have this co-location or these compatible uses that are joined together. Next slide. Goal number 3 is to promote economic innovation and sustainability in agricultural production, and strengthen the town's capacity to respond to economic and climate trends and changes. You have a strong agricultural base. That's good for farmers, that's good for the town, it's good for the region. So you need to think about diversifying agriculture and farming activities, exploring new markets that can strengthen the agricultural economy, and that would put the town in a position to better respond to these trends and changes. So you want to create a one-stop online clearinghouse of information and a resource library to support existing farms and new farmers and other agricultural activities. This could include resources and information on training and funding and markets and that type of thing. You want to support the Eat Local campaign, which is very strong in this community as well as other communities. And that way you would be supporting farmers markets. There's a terrific one that I was just at a couple Saturdays ago right here. Then you want to work with Erie County and other agencies to help expand those markets and get more folks having access to locally grown products. You want to commission an industry study on hemp and cannabidiol products. And then finally looking at ways to facilitate the development of relationships between the agricultural community and potential markets on the part of local pharmaceutical companies, the medical industries, dental users, the universities, and such. Goal number 4, leveraging the town's natural resources and agricultural assets to establish an agritourism initiative to encourage support for agricultural activities and to provide ancillary means of income for farm operations and agricultural entrepreneurs. There are a number of existing assets. So you want to increase public awareness of those things, and you want to promote and grow the agricultural tourism industry. So you want to participate in regional promotions such as the Erie Grown Passport and seek opportunities for the town's venues to be featured. That's something that's sponsored by Erie County. You want to continue working with the Buffalo Niagara Heritage Village as it launches new programs and initiatives. That is a fantastic resource that is up in the northern part of the town, and just build that, capitalize on that. And then also connect agriculture and tourism businesses with business support resources on an equal footing with the technology or manufacturing. And then last, the 5th goal is to promote the link between farms and food and farms and secondary income, to increase awareness by the non-farm community, to grow the industry, and help ensure the long-term sustainability of farming activities in Amherst. So you want to keep farmers and agricultural prosperous. You want to capitalize on the transition that is occurring now of agricultural practices to diversify and strengthen and grow the industry. So you want to promote the sale of farm products to school districts, hospitals, and other institutions in the area. Establish public information campaign to educate residents and others on the benefits of farming in Amherst and build local support for the industry. You want to identify and secure physical space for entrepreneurs, such as an underutilized commercial kitchen, and develop a management plan with rules, funding, and maintenance responsibility. And then finally, gather information on agricultural education programs in regional school districts and work with the local school districts to identify and implement similar programs in your local, in the local districts. So we took all of the information that we gathered. We did a SWOT analysis. We had numerous stakeholders meetings. Camoin especially met with a number of farmers and others in the community, and we took all of the information that we gathered through our survey and data collection and such, looked at the data, the findings, analyzed it all, and developed a number of recommendations to put this plan in action. So these included town actions such as adopting a right to farm law, establishing a dedicated agricultural and farming advisory committee, promoting the Erie County Agricultural District Program and encouraging more participation. There are zoning recommendations to apply the rural residential, the RR, and the agricultural, the AG zoning classifications in appropriate locations, starting with lands that are currently protected under conservation easements. You want to revise the list of permitted uses and accessory uses in the AG district with a focus on increasing the list of permitted commercial agricultural uses in support of innovation. Evaluating provisions regulating smaller farms and hobby farms, as well as non-commercial agricultural uses. That is important because that is a growing trend in agriculture that you're seeing in Amherst as well as other communities where there is a shift away from traditional large farming, and while that may still be happening, you're seeing more and more of this happening. And then you want to review and clarify the provision for keeping of animals in your zoning code to provide greater consistency and protection while enabling flexibility in appropriate locations. Next slide. You want to review and update the definitions in your zoning code with regard to agricultural activities, including the definitions for hobby farming, farm structures, animal husbandry, and other activities. Evaluate regulations governing small farm stand operations and local farm markets to support these operations and expand the availability of fresh produce. Update your solar regulations to clarify commercial versus residential solar applications and ensure solar is listed as an allowable use in appropriate districts. Revise zoning regulations to allow and encourage co-location of complementary agricultural uses, as I previously mentioned, such as grazing, apiaries, pollinary species, on solar installations. In terms of information and outreach, provide a centralized location for information about available resources that are offered through programs such as Cornell Cooperative Extension, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the Northeast Organic Farming Association, your local Soil and Water Conservation District, many other organizations. Actively reach out to the farming community to promote programs on business planning, financial management, and similar things to help new farmers build their businesses. We did speak to a few people that said they are trying to start agriculture or they are currently undertaking agriculture but would like more help. Establish a agricultural specific business support program and a one-stop centralized clearinghouse of available resources such as tax relief programs in support of agricultural economic development. Provide information about the Erie County Soil and Water Conservation District Climate Resiliency Farming Program and encourage participation. And also promote youth interest in agriculture through school curriculums and the local 4-H activity. Protection program options would be to continue to work with the Western New York Land Conservancy for the purchase of development rights, also providing information about climate and resiliency programs. Agricultural tourism initiatives include supporting the Eat Local campaign, promoting agricultural tourism activities such as the Erie Grown Passport, continue working with the Buffalo Niagara Heritage Village as it launches its new programs, connect agriculture and tourism businesses with business support resources on an equal footing with technology and manufacturing, promoting the sale of farm products to local schools and other institutions through researching bid opportunities and bundling small farms together to handle needed volumes. Ensure local farmers markets are included on the New York State Farmers Market Federation listing, and promote the continuation of community-supported agricultural cooperatives in the town. And then finally, ways for agricultural diversity and innovation, commissioning an industry study of hemp and cannabidiol products that identifies specific resources, gaps, and opportunities, including physical space, equipment, workforce, and entrepreneurship, facilitate relationships between the agricultural community and potential markets on the part of pharmaceuticals, medical and dental users, and the university, and then identify and secure space such as underutilized community kitchens or other facilities and develop a management plan to allow for cooperative use of these resources. So all of that rolled together indicates that the town's farmland protection and agricultural development plan really provides a wealth of information that the town can use to help you protect farmland, to help you grow farmland, to help you keep agriculture and farming prosperous so that it remains and is strengthened as a vital and sustainable component of the community into the future. And with that said, I will take any questions or open it up for discussion.
All right. Well, thank you, Wendy, very much for that presentation, and Roberta for all the work you've done coordinating that committee. The committee had the difficult task. I think we had one meeting, and then we're forced into the world of virtual. But nevertheless, if we're able to pull as many of the members of the ag community together as we did, continuously, meeting after meeting, it goes to show that that you can work on a lot of these projects and get a lot done and advance a lot of projects, especially those with state deadlines throughout this pandemic. Nevertheless, I think what we're left with is a really great plan. Several items we've already taken some action on. Just to those included the co-location programs with solar and beginning a farmers market at Bassett Park, and we look forward to working through an advisory committee and taking some of the further actions as we look to streamline and fast track review process and help ag grow. With that, I'm going to open it up first to comments or questions from any of the board members who may have. Councilman Zuccalla.
Forgive me.
Sure.
What I know you mentioned it at a couple different points. What is the difference between a hobby farm and a small farm just size, or is it also product?
It could be any of those things, you know, just someone, I always like to use the example because I see it so many times. There's someone who lives on Mill Street near the middle school, and they grow stuff in their backyard and they sell it out in their front yard. That would be a hobby farmer, you know, or you could say he's a small-sized little farm. But there are numerous people all over the town, you know, not just in the north, that are conducting, whether they have a few chickens in their backyard and they raise eggs that they might sell or eat, and you're probably familiar with that, or just somebody who's keeping bees, somebody who's growing herbs. There could be people that have what are called these high tunnel little greenhouses that they use to grow fresh cut flowers or herbs or other products that they may sell at farmers markets. So it could be any combination of those things. So just having a backyard garden for vegetables that you eat would qualify you as a hobby farmer. You're welcome.
One additional comment that this plan is feeding directly into the agricultural portions of the recovery plan. So there is a certain amount of business development. Maybe one of the benefits to doing it this year is we got to see the havoc of the pandemic and what that did, so that, you know, as we're building a agricultural protection plan, we also had the opportunity to build agricultural recovery plan of sorts. So again, timing is a lot, and this timing certainly has raised a lot of awareness.
And I encourage you to look at the portion of the plan that was done by Camoines 310, because there's a lot of terrific strategies in there. They really took a good look at what was going on, utilized the information that they collected from the stakeholders, and they've provided you with some good information to use to try to further develop your agricultural industry, and in different ways.
Councilman, did you?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you,
go ahead.
Supervisor. Many years ago, when my son was in grammar school, I have a sister-in-law who happens to be a veterinarian. So anyway, my husband's family was always involved with animals and such. So my father-in-law read in the paper there was a tour of farms in southern Erie County. So this one Saturday, that was what we did. And I'm reminded of that because I was reading and I see that there's an event called Urban Farm Day, which is on Saturday, August 28th. You can see produce, animals, and they're giving tours. Most of the farms are in the city. There's one in Tonawanda. And it's also done in conjunction with the UB Food Systems Planning and Healthy Communities Lab. And thinking about everything that you have here and talking about implementation strategies and events going forward, you have so many markets and farms. I was just thinking that maybe in the future, when it's an opportune time, maybe you could do an Amherst Farm Day. I mean, open the farms and especially children. I know the one time a couple years ago, I took my grandchildren to Spote's Market just to buy flowers, but then he was able to show us some of the animals that they have, and it was so delightful, and it kind of brought the whole visit full circle. So I think something like that might be, as a suggestion for a future event, that might be a really great thing to do to promote what you're doing here.
And if you tie that in with the Buffalo Niagara Heritage Village that you have up there, add that to the tour, or maybe start the tour there, but either way, capitalize on that as a resource to promote and build agriculture in your community.
Thank you for the report.
I'm going to open it up to the audience if there's any comments or questions. See, none?
Okay, Wendy, it's not often you don't get too many,
True.
any hard questions, or Brian will have to throw one at you.
No, I was just going to say, we
gave us a
we did have
number of tough questions.
fairly lively and engaged discussion during the public information forum for this. I think that there was certainly an awareness of hobby farming and micro farming or small farming that came out of that, as well as the needs of ag businesses. So as this town continues to move forward, we're going to keep this public hearing open to August 9th. I'm going to motion to adjourn the public hearing to that date.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we'll continue to take comments during this period and look to adopt a supporting resolution on August 9th. Thank you very much, Wendy. Thank you, Roberta. Thank you to the committee.